Hey John, I like your shirt.
I consider biking my therapy. You know, not that sometimes it doesn't get really stressful and I get really nervous every once in a while, but 99% of the time it is something that I love to do. I start getting antsy, if I don't ride my bike for 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, ah.
I've been riding bicycles for better part of 25 years. 70% of my riding involves BMX riding. I've been riding BMX since I was 10 years old. It's the only thing I've ever had in my life that I feel passionate about. It's the one thing consistent in my entire life that's always been there. It's the only thing that touches me. It's the only thing that scratches that itch. If I don't have a bike, if I don't ride, I'm completely out of whack. The world is not right around me. I don't act right. So it's almost like a crutch now. You know, I have to have it. It's almost like an addiction. It's helped me have something positive to be addicted to.
I don't know if riding is who I am or what I do, but it sure makes me happy, that's for sure. It's sanity. I mean, it's really just sanity. For some people, it's a way of life. For some people, it's an escape. And I think, for everybody, it's kind of its own special thing. But, mostly, it's just good for you. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter how cool you look, this, that, or the other. If you're riding, you're doing something good for yourself. And by the time you get home, you feel good.
People come in the shop to learn about bikes and try to pick out a bike, and I end up telling them about how much they should ride bikes and how exciting that is. I sell them more on the idea of riding than I do on the equipment itself.
I only do things that excite me, and one thing that really excites me is riding my bicycle. Well, I mean, looking back on it as a kid, I mean, all of my friends had bikes, so that was just part of growing up, was having a bicycle. It was give you a sense of freedom, which is what I still get today. It's the sense of freedom.
I honestly think that bicycles are in some ways the pinnacle of human transportation. It is both the most efficient machine created, more efficient than any animal that exists today, and it's incredibly simple.
Transportation is a really important social issue, and I don't think people realize how much the way we get around affects the quality of our lives. And I believe that the more our cities and probably rural areas too make it easier to walk and easier to bike around, that directly increases the quality of our life in a really simple but really beautiful way.
I think it's akin to a coffee shop. A community that doesn't have a coffee shop, people might just make their coffee at home. They might not drink coffee. When a coffee shop comes into community, all of a sudden people start making it part of their routine and they drink lots of coffee. I think we do the same thing with bikes. They see the bikes in the window, they see more and more people riding on bikes, and they think that, boy, it'd be fun to do that myself. And so they start coming in and learning what it's about, and we encourage them to keep going and give them the tools they need to ride. So
the bicycling community in general is growing, but there are different facets of the community. There are people who are riding, doing group rides just leisurely around the city. There are people who ride seasonally, so they'll only ride when it's warmer outside. There are racing teams. So it's a varied community, just like almost any other community.
I mean, it really is it's a big community, but it's kind of tight-knit. Everyone knows each other. I'll run into one person, I'll be riding with a friend, and we'll run into someone that knows us both, and that kind of thing. It's really cool to be able to go anywhere and run into another cyclist somewhere. Some people are out there riding just to get some exercise or for competition. Other people, use it to ride to work. Some, whether they some people can't afford to get cars, and some people can and choose the bicycle over the car. It's everybody's choice. I think it's a fun way to be part of your community. I notice a lot more stuff when I'm riding by bicycle.
With bicycles, you can just kind of enjoy what's going on around you and be a part of the world versus having your windows rolled up, the doors locked, and just, focus going forward.
I really feel like much more of an expert of my city, and I feel like I know it a lot better. And I feel like I'm observing more. It's not just like everything flashing by at, 40 miles an hour. I can't really soak it all in.
Well, in the past probably 5 years, the city has actually taken a big push to better cycling in the city. They've put a lot of sharrows down on the road, which are those little arrows with the cyclist on them to tell you to share the road. They have some dedicated bike lanes now. A lot of good stuff's happening in regards to bike culture in the entire city.
Biking, it's just one of those things. Not only can you do it to run errands, but you can also do it just purely because you love it.
Everybody should ride a bike. Everybody should be on a bike. Everybody should have the experience of having a bicycle in their life. There's plenty of places to do it. There's plenty of ways to do it. And there's no really wrong way to do it. I think it reminds them of their youth. I think you go out and ride with your friends. It brings back that sense of like when you're 15, it's summer, you're cruising down the street with your friends. Like, life is simple. Life makes sense, you don't have to think, you just have to exist and be with it,
They encourage like self-assurance and self-pride and self-love because, especially if you're a kid or you're limited means and you have to rely on a lot of other people to get everywhere you want to go, you don't have a lot of money to like fill up your gas tank, to catch the bus, all of a sudden you discover that you can take yourself anywhere